Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Suhei with Suhei Plans, and I enjoy creating journaling and planning content here on YouTube as well as on Instagram and TikTok. In this video, I am sharing two of my 2026 planners, and I'm really excited to share a little bit about each of these books as individuals, how I'm using them together, and then also some general thoughts for 2026. In front of me, I have the Sterling Ink Complete Planner in the B6. And on this side, I have the Hobonichi Weeks in the Liberty Fabric cover. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button if you enjoyed today's conversations. Now let's jump in. So 2026 is going to be a very experimental year for me. I'll just start by saying that. This book I've never used before, the Complete Planner, and that's maybe more obvious to some because this planner just released for the first time ever in 2026. But I've also never used a Hobonichi Weeks, which is tried and true, and so many other folks in the planning community um, have known, have loved, and have been using for years. But for me personally, both of these books will be a brand new experience. I think that trying new things is always worthwhile. I know that not everyone watching is interested in that much. Sometimes you just want to know the planner, make a decision, and move on. But for me, I'm personally going to be doing a lot of experimentation for 2026. So you can expect this to be one video in a series of videos leading up to my 2026 full complete planner stack. I feel like I need to do like the one video would be just way too long. So I'd rather break it up into kind of like mini little systems, and then at the end do one big video where I do an overview of all of the whole system. Because for 2026 I have 8 planners. Yes, 8 planners. So let's just start with these two right here. So the Sterling Ink Complete Planner, this is the first hardcover planner for Sterling Ink, and it is an absolute gorgeous beauty. I like hardcover planners. I know that this can be somewhat of a deal breaker for some, but I do enjoy a hardcover planner. Most notably, I have been enjoying the Hobonichi Hone. And this is a hardcover planner, and I've kind of been digging it. So I think that I'm going to do well with the Sterling Ink hardcover. I've also had some experiences with the Hemlock and Oak planner, which is a hardcover book as well. So I think I'm going to really dig this hardcover format. The Hobonichi Weeks in the Liberty Fabrics, it's not as hard of a cover as the Sterling Ink, but it certainly is more of a hardcover style. And I am just over the moon with how gorgeous the color combination is between these two planners. I mean, that is just, it's really happenstance, right? That these two colors released for this year, like this colorway and this complete planner. But if nothing else, my eyes will be feasting every day because this is such a gorgeous combination. The B6 Complete Planner, this is in the Seashell, I believe it's called. Um, I think it's called Seashell or something related to the ocean for sure. Unfortunately, I don't know when this planner will restock. Right now, it's shown as sold online, and there's no pre orders going on right now. So, not sure when this will become available again. But I do believe there are still opportunities out there to pick up the Hobonichi Weeks in the Liberty fabrics. So the reason why I picked up the Hobonichi Weeks as a companion to the Complete Planner is because the Complete Planner only comes at the moment in a vertical weekly format. And I really do I can enjoy a vertical, I can enjoy a horizontal, but for my personal planning, I do prefer a weekly kind of horizontal orientation. So, my thought is that I want to use the complete planner for work and personal, with the addition of the Hobonichi Weeks to carry over just a little bit more of that personal planning that I don't think quite fits in the complete planner. That like, I feel like when I say that out loud and I repeat that back to myself, I'm like, oh, is that such a good idea, Suhei? I certainly am not sure, and I have my doubts. I've never really done anything like this before, where I'm splitting my major system between two books. What I tend more to do is I'll say, you're for work, you're for personal, and I always give everything its own book. But for 2026, I do want to try being a little bit more fluid and creating mini systems instead of saying that I need one book for this, one book for that. Traditionally, in the past, that has really worked for me. But I think for the moment of life that I'm in right now, I need something a little bit more flexible, and that allows me to plan interchangeably between things. So, for that reason, I also picked up the weeks with the horizontal orientation, because I think that is really important for my personal planning needs. And I really felt some kind of way that that was missing in here. And so I decided to pick up both. I think that I could have done all of my work and personal planning in the complete, but I'm hesitant because I tried. So, this is a spread where I took a busy week at work and I just dumped it into this B6 layout to see how well it would translate. It translated very, very well, but there is no room in here for my personal planning. So, for that reason, well, at least on this weekly spread, the Sterling Incomplete Planner also has daily pages. Let me kind of flip towards the middle of the book. It also has daily pages, but for my personal planning, I need dailies, weeklies, and monthlies. For my work planning, I really need a vertical weekly spread. So I can't have all of those things in the complete planner, but the very small edition of this teeny compact little book feels like the best way to squeeze it in and create the perfect system. Literally, this system would be perfect if it just had after every vertical weekly, if it was followed by a horizontal weekly. That same week, just in a horizontal format. I could totally use a planner with both a vertical and a horizontal orientation in one. But this book is already 600 and something, 671 pages. So I know that that's probably not super realistic. C'est la vie. I will just pick up this very small, thin, compact Hobonichi Weeks as an alternative. What's really beautiful is that the complete planner comes with this elastic band, and they're both a fabric textured cover. So the combination feels, not only is this combination beautiful aesthetically, but the feels are really there because both covers are made from a very beautiful fabric. So they just feel like they're meant to be together, if that makes sense. And that elastic band, it has so much forgiveness and stretch. I really, really appreciate that. I am not going to fill this book up with stickers and washi and things like that. This is really going to be very, very functional of a set. So I know that it won't chunk up to the point where this elastic band will give up on me. Big kudos to Catherine at Sterling Ink. This is one of the best like elastic bands on a planner that I've seen, and I'm actually thrilled that that feature was offered with the complete planner. I think it's fabulous. So I feel like that is a very manageable set. Yes, it's two books, and I'm kind of jumping in between the two a little bit, but I just think that, the physical compactness of both could really be a win for me. Because these are both such beautiful fabric covers, I did get plastic covers for both. I just don't trust myself all year with these absolutely gorgeous books. So back to the complete planner and that vertical spread I filled out. That filling out that spread really made me realize that I was going to need one more book to supplement what I was intending to use this for. So I did my weekly for work, so that made me realize that I need to pick something else with a week's view at a glance. So that's why I have the Hobonichi, and let me show you that while I'm there, while I'm kind of mentioning that. There's the Hobonichi. It's very familiar to folks, and there's a ton of YouTube videos out there. So I'm planning essentially to, let's see, let me see if I can, no, I won't be able to find it. I was going to say, can I find April 20th in this complete planner? I'll be here forever. Because this has so many pages, y'all. Okay, so I plan to plan for work in this vertical, and then plan for my personal life in this horizontal view. So then these are probably the two spreads where my life is segmented in the way that I was exclusively planning in one book for work and exclusively planning in another for personal. This is probably the only moment of that. And this is the only remnant of that kind of style of planning, is that I'm going to use this spread exclusively for work and this spread exclusively for personal. Every other page in both of these books is fair game to plan for personal or work, and vice versa. So, mostly in the complete planner, you get a daily page with a numbered timeline and lots of open grid. I am planning to put both work and personal things on this daily page. Sometimes I can fit everything that I need to in the vertical spread for work in a day, but sometimes I like to take certain notes or just jot things down. So I'll carry that over into these daily pages. For work, I don't really use a monthly very, very much. So I am going to use the monthly in the complete planner for both work and personal, but I don't have any hesitations that my planning would fit. My planning for both of those areas of my life would fit in here, because I don't use monthlies very much for work, believe it or not. So then, because the Hobonichi Weeks monthly spread is pretty teeny weeny, I mean, it's not that bad, but it's small. What I'm going to probably use the monthly spread in the Hobonichi Weeks is to track one or two particular things. So, kind of using it for some personal tracking, while I'm really using this monthly spread in a more traditional sense: events, calendars, appointments, things like that. Okay, so I've gone ahead. Those are kind of the main components to both planners. I've gone ahead and did a spread here for my dailies for 2026 in this book. This is like my go-to spread. This is what I do with all of my daily planners. I don't stray very much from this kind of an organization. I have my timeline on the left-hand side of the page, the top right for priorities. In the middle, I'm going to have some to-dos, and then at the bottom, I will have a section for notes. These two spreads have a different amount of to-dos, and I guess what I'm just doing is kind of playing around with how much I'm going to need, like how many boxes I'll need for my to-dos, or how much space I want for my notes. And so I'm just playing around with, it's the same layout, like the priorities, the to-do, the notes, the timeline. I'm just playing around with the proportions of each of those sections. Usually I always have two or three priorities, so I think at least that section will be just like that. And so that'll probably be how I set up most of my daily pages. The fact that this book While it doesn't have this layout that I want, the fact that it is dated and it already has that timeline, it's a huge time saver. I can deal with kind of DIYing the rest. Okay. In addition to, I've talked about the weekly, the dailies, the monthlies. This book does not have very many blank pages. So I am going to use them for overflow if I need to jot something down, but I'm not giving them any specific purpose or function. They will be just notes pages. I went ahead and did a pen test here with the things that I really enjoy using, and everything was really, really great. I didn't love how the Papermate Inkjoy point 0.7 kind of not bled, but it showed a little bit more than I liked it to. But other than that, everything else that I use was fine. And so that is kind of what I'm thinking for the complete planner. The Hobonichi Weeks also has grid for like notes in the back, probably more pages in proportion to the complete planner. So I'm kind of still thinking about what that might look like, but part of me is also like, I'm just going to use it as a notebook because there's not a ton of notebook space in the complete planner. The complete planner does give you a blank spread after each monthly, and you also do get a blank page after each week, after the dailies for each week. But I don't know if that's necessarily enough, or I think that because those pages are spread all throughout the notebook, I can't use that as a notebook that I refer to. I'll just absolutely lose like where I wrote certain notes down. Even though I know this book is like numbered, I'm just not going to create an index for those random few pages that are scattered throughout. So for that reason, I think I'll use the extra pages in the Hobonichi Weeks as that kind of notebook like element to my planning. And so, folks, that is my planner. Really quickly, the Hobonichi Weeks. So, I am also planning to write down work-related events in this spread. It's going to be a bit of a duplication with the complete. I know that. But I do just want to do a better job of making my work and personal planning not be so separate, because what I'm finding is that the more and more I do that, the more one of those halves get ignored. Sometimes I dive so deep into work that I haven't cracked open my personal planner. And sometimes I do such a, I'm so focused at home that, I could have a slip up at work. Honestly, for me personally, I'm always the other way around. I will overcommit at work and then be undercommitting with the things I have to do for my family. So I'm really hoping that this system allows me to better manage those two and not be so laser focused on one, allowing me to just step back a little bit and always have both of those huge components of my life front and center and at the ready. And, until that perfect planner exists, I air quotes with that, I am very, very, very happy and delighted with this kind of a combination for right now until that perfect planner exists one day. Thank you so much for watching, y'all. Stay tuned for the next video in this series. I am really excited to show you all the different planners I've picked up and the different ways I'm planning to use them. Thank you so much for being here, y'all. I'll see you in the next one.